This is day 131, and today we are looking at how we can clean the data that we have received. So, for the last 3 days, we looked at how to get data from the board of the email and how to get data from an attachment or to download an attachment into a particular folder and save it on our PC. Now we extended this process to now look at how we can then clean the data. So usually you get unclean data and you would want to do some transformation steps to clean that data. So to just show you the data that we downloaded, it is like this. So this is the data that we have received. So I call this source. But at the end, I have different visualization. I have graph 1, graph 2, graph 3, and I can build a lot of visualizations using this source data here. So I can build quite a lot of visualizations. But what we need to now understand is that if my data source or my data is not structured correctly, it will be very difficult for me to build these reports here. The best way to structure your data is to structure it in a table. And usually where you have, for example, a country name which is not repeating like this, you need to make sure that it's repeating so that each and every line item you have a label for the region and a label for the product category, for example. This will make it possible for you to do something like a pivot table. Pivot is the most powerful way of analyzing your data or summarizing your data so that you can build any visualization you want. So it is just I think the easiest way, if you are not sure how you want your data to be structured, don't try to do pivot or anything. Just try to put it in a way that it can be pivoted. So sometimes you would get data which is in a horizontal table. So for example, if we had our countries going this way instead of going downwards, you would want to clean it up and make sure that the countries are arranged going downwards. So how can you then transform this data? So we are going to look at Power Query. We did look at Power Query before, and we looked at what it can do. So if you haven't yet looked at what Power Query can do yourself a favor, just search for the video which I have, Power Query. I'll put the link into the description of this video. And if I go to data and I go to queries and connections, so you can see here, ignore this column that I've added here. But if we just look at these columns here, you can see that Zimbabwe is repeating and all the product categories are repeating. So we don't have any row that doesn't have the name. How do you do that? So let's just go step by step. So this is the source. These are all the files in that folder. Then here it automatically just pulls the first row. It says that they are headers. If they were not sensed as headers, what you can do is you can say use first row as headers. So it would take whatever this first row at that point is and use it as a header. The part I am interested in is the fill down. So here we have Zimbabwe, and after Zimbabwe, this is still information for Zimbabwe. And as you can see here, it's now here, but it's supposed to show Zimbabwe. So what I can do is I can read how my data is structured. I can see the country name, the first row is the country name, then the rows after it doesn't have any information. Then once we go to South Africa, then we have the name of the country. Then the other rows which are relating to South Africa don't have the word South Africa. So they have now basically. So what I can do there, I can say I want to fill down. So because the country is on top, I want to fill down. Then I can fill down. Let's suppose it was a different situation where I see that the name South Africa is right at the bottom and the information above it relates to South Africa. What I would do there, I would say I want to fill up. So where do I find fill up? If I just go to transform and fill. So you can either fill up or fill down. So let me fill up. It will ask me to insert a step. So I insert a step. So you can see everything above the name South Africa is now return South Africa here. But I don't want this step. Okay, so this is how you can use the fill down and fill up to sort of transform your data and be able to complete your data set so that you can use it as a pivot table. Now, something that I've just done here is also, for example, in my source data, the data capturers had spelled the name Germany incorrectly. And I think there were quite a number of names, but anyways, let's look at German. It was spelled incorrectly. So I had to rename it. So to rename it, I just went on Germany, which they had used. So this is the Germany they had used. I then just say right click and replace values. Then let me just say insert. Then I say Germany replaced by the correct spelling. Okay, I don't want to insert any step there, so I just cancel it. Okay. Or the other thing which I also have is the day. So I'm picking the day from the name of the file. So from the source, you can see this is the name of the file, but it has .xls. But I don't want the .xls because I want to use it as a date. So to do that, I can just replace. You can see there is date, then xls. What I can do here, there are many ways of doing it. The first one is text to column. I can do text to column and use full stop as my delimiter. Or I can extract before delimiter. So I can just extract before delimiter. So here I've extracted anything that is below the delimiter. Let me just show you how it works. I would come to transform. Then under transform, I would say extract. What do I want to extract? I want to extract first characters, or actually I want to extract text before a delimiter. Then I say, let me just say insert step, then delimiter. I put the delimiter I want to use. I want to use full stop as my delimiter. Then you can say okay. Then you see it extracts anything before the delimiter. If I wanted to extract anything after the delimiter, I would have said extract anything after the delimiter. Okay, so and if I wanted to add my day as a separate column, I would have come to add column here, and there's also extract. So I can extract into the same column, or if I want to add an additional column, I just extract in the same column. So here I want to extract as a new column. So I can say, let me just say after delimiter, or let me do it before this extraction. Okay, let me just say extract text after delimiter. Okay, then I put my delimiter as this. You see it will add an additional column, so it doesn't replace the current column. But if I go into transform here and do extract, it will replace the current column. So there are quite a lot of transformations that you can do. You can play around many of these transformations. And also the add column here, like invoking custom function, adding conditional column. You can add a conditional column. You can, for example, if you want to qualify as grade A cells or top cells or whatever you want, if you feel like you want to, let's say we want to qualify anything above 1000 as A, anything above 500 as B, and anything below as C. So let me just do that with you right now. Let's do it at the end, actually. Let's do a conditional column because we want to add conditional. So which column do we want to base our condition on? We want to base our condition on column cells units. We want to say if it's greater than 1000, then answer is A. Okay, then we add another clause. Then we say if cells is greater than, or yet it should be actually greater than or equal to. Then here we also have is greater than or equal to 500, then that's grade B. Then otherwise, it's C. Or you can add it as a clause, but because it's the last condition, you can say else it's C. Then we say okay. So you can see anything that is above 500, it's B. Anything above 1000, it's A. I'm going to delete this step because I don't need it. Another transformation that I can also do is I can group. For example, if I want to just group by country, I can also do grouping. So there are a lot of transformations, but I'm not going to spend much more time on them. So once I've done, I then choose to close and load, and I choose where I want to load to. In this case, I loaded to a model. And you can see here, I also have a pivot table report, and I've loaded it to a model. We'll look at the model later on, but I just know that I've loaded to a model. Or I would have also loaded it to create connection only and loaded it to a model, because all here what I'm doing is I'm using a model now to create this report. So in my next video, we are going to look at the next steps that we need to do until we get the data into the front end here. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and also subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications when I upload new videos. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.